All right, all right. You know what time it is. Neil Ratner, Rock Talk here with a story. Okay, in honor of Pete Townsend's 74th birthday today, I thought I'd tell you a few things about Pete that you might not know. But as usual, a little background first. Pete came from a very musical family. His father played alto sax in the Royal Air Force's dance band called the Squadronettes, and his mother was a big band singer. But both parents were big drinkers with bad tempers, and at the age of 5, Townsend was sent to live with his demented maternal grandmother. Now, Pete would later recall this as the darkest period in his life and described her as the perfect witch. But as is usually the case with creative songwriters, Townsend used many elements of his experience in those years when he crafted his brilliant rock opera Tommy. Now, Townsend met John Entwistle when they were in school. Entwistle had accidentally become a member of Roger Daltry's skiffle band called the Detours. Daltry needed a bass player, and he saw Entwistle walking down the street carrying a bass, and he recruited him. Now, Entwistle then promptly suggested Townsend as an additional guitarist, and after a couple of personnel changes, including the addition of Keith Moon on drums, the Who were born. Okay, so it's June 1964, early in the band's career, and they're playing their first show in West London. Townsend was usually quite reclusive on stage, but not on this night. The band was playing a cover of the song Smokestack Lightning when Pete got over-exuberant with his 12-string guitar and thrust the guitar over his head, breaking a hole in the ceiling. Now, according to Townsend, the feeling was extraordinary, magical, and surreal. So he went nuts and continued to hit the guitar every which way until it was in pieces. Pete knew that moment was a turning point and later said, "The old conventional way of making music would never be the same." And it wasn't. Now, there was another guitar player by the name of Jimi Hendrix who had taken notice of Pete's antics with the guitar and began to use his guitar in interesting ways as well. Now, the two groups were scheduled to play the Monterey Pop Festival back in '67, right around now, on the same day. And as a matter of fact, they were going to go on back to back. But Townsend was very worried about following Hendrix. So Pete went to Jimi and he tried to negotiate. But Hendrix wouldn't hear of it. Jimi said to him, "What you really mean is that you don't want me to go first. You want to be the first up there with the guitar smashing." To which Townsend replied, "Jimi, I swear that's not what it's about." Believe it or not, the matter was settled with a coin toss, and the Who went first. And we all know what happened when Jimi went on. He one-upped Pete by kneeling down and setting his guitar on fire. Now, Townsend was watching Hendrix's performance with Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas in the audience. And as Jimi was burning his guitar, she yelled at Townsend, "Hey, destroying guitars is your thing!" Pete turned to her and said, "It used to be. It belongs to Jimi now." So that's how that all came about. All right, my last story about Pete Townsend is a real nice one, and it involves his friend Eric Clapton, who by the early 70s was a hopeless heroin addict and virtually disappeared from the music scene. Now, Townsend was a good friend, and he wanted to help, and the only way he knew how was through music. So he single-handedly organized a comeback concert for Eric at the Rainbow Theatre in London in January of 1973. The concert helped Eric get going again and was instrumental in bringing Clapton back into the world of music. All right, Pete Townsend, one of the all-time greats of rock and roll for sure. Okay, so that's my story, but of course I'm going to promote my book. Go to my website if you haven't yet bought it, neilratnerrocktalk.com. Buy the book off there. I'll endorse it any way you want. And listen to me on Saturdays at 3 o'clock for This Week in Rock and Roll on WDST Radio Woodstock, either 100.1 if you're up here on your radio dial, or on the internet on iHeartRadio. And if you go to the WDST website, WDST.com, and look on the top for audio, go down, This Week in Rock. All of my little segments are archived there. All right, that's it for today. Beautiful day here in Woodstock. Looks like spring is finally coming. I know there's some storms around America, so if it's stormy where you are, be careful. Join me next week for more and on Radio Woodstock and all week long for my reports. Okay, that's it for today. Have a great one. See you soon. Bye.